All right. We're recording officially. Not sure what the rules are on having adult beverages on YouTube or anything, but Jesse's already had two. We figured it was about beer 30. We drove from, and by the way, this is Jesse Conley. You want to introduce yourself, Jesse? Go ahead.
How y'all doing?
We're taking a cross-country road trip from Hot Springs, Arkansas to as north goes and as west goes, probably, eventually. You know, I've been wanting to do something like this for a long time. I took my first trip out to Colorado this past September. Went elk hunting out there and just fell in love with it, and have been eating up with it ever since to get back out there. And tried to do it in November of this past year and had to come back to Georgia to unfortunately I stopped off in Chattanooga and tried to buy a firearm there, and you know, I got in a little trouble about 7 or 8 years ago. Again, remember that, 7 or 8 years ago. Got in a little trouble with the legal authorities, and did all the stuff I was supposed to do to be able to overturn that, and you know, pay my fines and all that stuff. And apparently, that's all they care about, is that you pay your money. Because once I paid that money, it's pretty much like I disappeared. Exactly. And once they get that cheddar, they don't really care about you too much. And
they don't get cheddar from me. I just gotta wait it out in jail.
Right. Well, I didn't want to do 5 years in jail, which was the alternative. And so I did 5 years probation. I did everything that I was supposed to do. I did a pre-trial diversion, and you know, thought I had my gun rights back. This is 2 years now after. As you can see, this is an elk hunting shirt from Born and Raised Outdoors. Those guys probably in Hush, the Hush company that are, you know, big YouTube guys. Those guys. Trey keeps asking us to do stuff for him. I'm like, dude, this ain't about us showing you how to get on our feed. Yeah. Like, you know, we love you, buddy, but you got to figure some stuff out. You go on YouTube. Here's how you get us. Okay, you go on our Instagram page. You like LonshotMisfits at LonshotMisfits. All right, it's spelled out LonshotMisfits.
Hooked on fun is what
work it for me. Yeah, so you can follow us there. You can go on YouTube. So we're gonna be doing, you know, trying to hit as many platforms as possible to see which one takes off the most. Jesse, as of now, does not have an Instagram page, a personal page. He's just gonna use this one. And I'm gonna be doing my own stuff on here as well as on my own page. And y'all saw I changed the name to Misfit Matt. I just feel like the whole Matthew McRae movement thing, honestly, was it was hard. I mean, trying to get Matthew McRae movement off and running. I mean, I got it up to 1,000 followers, man, but that was like tooth and nail. But what I will say is most of the followers on there were quality people, and that's what we want. We're not in this to get a crap ton of followers. We hope that happens, but we want real people. We want the long shots. We want the misfits. We want the people that maybe society has ruled out or said you can't do that because of this, or you can't be that because you've done this, or whatever it is. We want to show people that no matter how much you've messed up, just like I just said. I mean, I got in some legal trouble.
We all have.
Yeah, well, some people have. My mama's never been in a bit of legal trouble in her life, but you know, that's just how the southern mamas are. But we want to inspire people by just living our lives, and I guess I'll just kind of jump into, you know, how this whole thing got started. So I was trying to go to Colorado in November. I stopped off in Chattanooga to buy a rifle and was turned down for that, and was told I had to come back to Georgia to get it taken care of. So I spent the next 4 months from mid-November until mid-March, literally fighting. I called both court systems, and I'm gonna shout them out, in Athens, Clarke County and in Bullitt County in Georgia. I called both of those court offices at least 100 times apiece in those 3 months. And to make a long story short, they suck. I mean, I'm just going to tell you, the legal system in the state of Georgia in those 2 counties sucks.
It's Georgia.
Yeah, I mean, it's not the city. I'm just going to tell you,
Got
man.
a bunch of red tape you gotta cut through, and that's a bunch of BS.
It's a bunch of jump through this. Well, hurry up and wait. I mean, I
Yeah.
literally called 100 times. And here's the thing: in both systems, they didn't even know what I was talking about. They had to look it up. So basically, what that tells me is, once you pay them their money, you ain't nothing. You're a number, just like a prisoner is, just like anybody in the system is. You're a number. You turn into a piece of meat, just like a cow. You're an auction animal, basically. And it was very disappointing, to say the least. During that time, I got pneumonia. The $10,000 I had saved up to go to Colorado and to start a new life out there, that was gone after the pneumonia. 2 months of basically being flat on my back, and yeah, it was rough. So I had $150 to my name about 2 weeks ago, and I said, screw it. You know, I tried to make Atlanta work. I tried to make Georgia work, but this right here don't fit in very well in Atlanta, Georgia, especially in Buckhead, where I was trying to build my business. Every white person, believe it or not, that I ran into judged me based on this and based on the fact that I drive a dark tinted truck with big tires. And I mean, it was just, I've never experienced, and it kind of is what launched this whole thing and finally led me to just say, you know, screw it, I'm gonna do it anyway. I got fed up with the judgment and the contempt prior to investigation. And I imagine you've dealt with a little bit of that too, huh, Jesse?
That you're only judged by your long hair. They either think I'm drunk or tweaker. But to tell you the truth, when I'm drunk, you really can't tell because I walk a little straighter.
Yeah, exactly.
I got cerebral palsy. I've been judged all my life. I've been deemed by other people what I can do and what I can't do, and that just ain't cool with me, because if you tell me I can't do it, I'm either gonna do it or kill myself trying to do it.
Yep.
So, y'all find out a lot about me through these videos, and the next time you see somebody with a disability, don't say I feel sorry for you or I'm sorry, because you really just don't know what they could do.
Yep.
You know, and don't prejudge them, because I tell you what, I could do a lot more than people think I could do. You're gonna see me go hunting, go off-roading, shoot a gun straight.
And drive off-road.
Oh yeah.
Not go off-road.
That's a piece of
He's
cake.
gonna shoot the gun. He's gonna drive the sidekick. Suzuki
I
sidekick.
was raised hunting and fishing. I was raised around guns. From when I was like 5 years old, I've had one in my hand. My first gun was a BB gun. And then at 9 years old, my dad started kicking me up with shotguns, rifles, etc., etc. Now, to tell you the truth, shooting a gun, for me, it's easier than casting a dang fishing pole. Because if you see me try to cast a fishing pole, I don't care if it's a zip code 33 or a bad caster. I look like a monkey trying to score a football. I mean, seriously. The last time I tried to go deep sea fishing, I was standing on the beach. On the beach. My ex-wife bought me a brand new deep sea fish pole. I get it all rigged up. I go out for my first cast, and I hear, okay, where's my bait? You would think with nothing but water in front of me, I'd be able to hit it. No, people, the lure came down right beside me. I took that fishing pole, I reeled it back in, I stuck it in the closet, and I never did mess with it again. So,
And that's like that old John Elway story said, if you ever beat him on the pool table that he had, he'd sell it the next day.
Exactly.
It's got to be the pole.
Exactly.
It had to be the table.
So I hope with the videos, it opens a lot of people's eyes, you know, because mainly I would like to get sponsored, and I would like to tune people in on what it's like to be really different physically, and to show my capabilities. I don't think of a handicap as being disabled. If I thought that, I won't be able to walk, drive, work, shoot a gun, enjoy the outdoors like I do. Agree?
Agree. And let me just say this and make this very clear to anybody that maybe would think differently. The reason that I chose to partner with Jesse in doing this is because not only does he think differently about his disability, or what's labeled a disability, he thinks differently. He believes that life is about growing and about challenging yourself and about facing your fears and your obstacles, and not, like you said, not allowing labels or what somebody says you can't do or can do determine how you're going to live your life and what you're going to do. Did Jesse, more than anybody I've met in a pretty long while, makes me want to be a better person, and to not complain and to not bitch and not moan, and just and get up every day and do the things that I love and try to share those things with other people, and to be a blessing in the world, and I would be doing this with Jesse. If I had met him without cerebral palsy, I'd still be doing it with him, because he's a good guy. He's a guy that tries to give back, tries to help people, and tries to inspire people. And I've been looking for a long time for somebody to partner with, and I did not have it in my mind that it would be somebody that would have cerebral palsy or any kind of thing like that. I've opened it up to buddies of mine over and over again and say, hey man, let's go out west and hunt and fish and put it on YouTube, just like these other guys do. Because my attitude is, and I imagine Jesse believes the same, if that person can, I can too. There's no person out there that's that much smarter than you. There's no person out there that's that much more athletically or physically gifted than you, that you can't do the same thing that they're doing. The difference is consistency and time. Do you want to put the time in, and do you want to do the hard stuff? I mean, Jesse and me right now, we ain't exactly rolling in the dough.
Oh no! Tell you the truth, I got $60 in my pocket right now. We started out 460.
Yeah.
But I had the bright idea to put a tow hitch in front of my sidekick and tow it behind Matthew's truck. Well, $160 later, I got tired of it. $20 here, $20 there. No.
We wound up not even finishing it. He's basically driving his sidekick, and I'm driving my truck, which is fine. Jesse's kind of like me, even though a lot of people don't see this in me, is that I'm an extrovert. I need my alone time. I like traveling alone. I like being alone. I'm an extrovert by necessity.
Yeah.
When I have to be.
I'm an extrovert, preferably.
Yeah.
I need that time alone to recharge, collect my thoughts, figure out where I want to go. Tell you the truth, being around a lot of people just makes me nervous. Because, hey, the one caught the camera.
It happens.
We're gonna leave that.
It happens. And I spilled my dang beer.
Damn it.
Damn it.
Hang on. Okay, we're back.
Alright, I'm on. That ought to be good right there. We're just gonna keep this thing rolling, y'all. And if you get upset because we're not editing our videos or whatever, you'll get over it. I had to sell my computer, my Mac, to make this trip possible. And a lot of other things. A hunting rifle. I mean, I basically asked myself, you've been saying you wanted to do this. You had the money to do it. But what if you did it regardless of having the money? What if you literally did it like old cowboy used to have to? That's what they used to do. Barter, sell, trade their way out west. I mean, you had to do what you had to do. It's not. We're not rolling in it. We're not comfortable. We're not. You know, well, and here's the thing: we are. You know, we got food. We got our dogs. We got firearms to hunt with.
Fishing poles to get fish with.
Yeah, fishing poles to catch fish with. We're and that. You know, to give you kind of a general idea of what this channel is going to be about, it's definitely going to be about hunting and fishing, about being able to sustain yourself out in the wilderness. We're going to go into places that are wild and untamed and as far away from anybody else as possible, and prove that Jesse can do that. That you know that cerebral palsy doesn't limit you to that. There might be times I have to carry him on my back, but that's what we're going to do. You know.
Yeah, mule.
Or a mule, yeah. We're gonna look into getting
some
more.
Mule.
I'm
my mule.
Matt the mule.
Matt the mule.
I'll take it. But and you know, there are some things that we're doing this, you know, and we're kind of doing this in opposition to certain other things that are happening. You know, we're doing it because we love it, but also we want to take a stand against people that bash hunters, that bash outdoorsmen, and think that we're just, you know, murderers that just go around killing things.
Hey, tell them the story about what just happened to us.
Okay,
Before we
all right.
left.
So I'd already did a live about this on Instagram. Okay, I still am kind of flabbergasted that this actually happened.
I'm beside myself.
So his neighbor, not his neighbor directly beside, either way, his neighbor across the way at his apartment complex. Again, I just met Jesse like a week ago, by the way. But when real meets real, you just know it. And I stayed with him and his roommate for a couple days. I actually met his roommate first, and he introduced me to Jesse. And his neighbor at 12 o'clock at night, 12 o'clock now, 12:03 to be exact, comes and knocks on his door. Now, Jesse's not there. It's just me and Trey. We're sitting on the couch about to go to bed. Knock on the door, knock. You're like one of those knocks. And I was like, and Trey's like, who the heck? He answers the door, and it sounds like somebody that he knows. So this girl and her boyfriend walk in. When I say girl, she was 22. She's a young woman, and her boyfriend, I didn't know him or anything, walk in, and she walks in and she starts looking at my dog that's in the kennel and starts playing with him, and then all of a sudden notices me on the couch, and she's like, oh. And kind of pretending like she didn't know I was there, but then the next question let me know that she did know I was there. Like the only reason she came in the apartment was because she knew I was there. She says, are you a tenant here? Now this girl is a tenant. She's not a landlord.
House.
Yeah, into his apartment. She's not a landlord. She doesn't have any right to do this. None. Nobody gave her any permission to come in and check me on anything. She comes in and she says, are you a tenant here? I said, no. She said, do you have a weapon? I said, I have a firearm, a hunting firearm, two of them actually. I have a pistol and a rifle sitting in the corner, and they're both used for hunting. They were purchased legally. She says, well, do you know that tenants aren't allowed to have firearms here? I said, again, ma'am, I'm not a tenant. I don't live here. I'm visiting my friend. And so come to find out, you're not supposed to have weapons on the property if you're a tenant. But again, I'm not a tenant.
But I've had firearms of my own in my house. I'm a hunter.
And here's the thing. Let me tell you who saw the firearms. Her mama saw the firearms. Saw me walk in broad daylight through the commons area where everybody could see, holding a 44 mag Super Blackhawk. If you see that gun, you know that gun is a hunting pistol. You don't get a gun that big or that long of a barrel for concealed carry. You get it for hunting, specifically for killing hogs and for killing grizzly bears, which is going to be needed on this trip.
Yeah.
Okay? The other gun I have is a Henry all-weather 44 mag that has a full camo sleeve on it. Again, a hunting weapon.
And granted, they've seen me take guns and in and out of my apartment during their season, and nobody said nothing about it.
Right. And here's my biggest problem with the whole issue. It's like, I really can't understand the reasoning. I'm like, how did she come to the conclusion that the solution to her curiosity was to come at 12 o'clock at night into an apartment with a man that she doesn't know, that she obviously feels is threatening? Where is that the solution? To come at 12 o'clock at night into a dwelling where you're I mean, what's the other any other reason that she would have come in there? Trey suggested maybe because she thought I was attractive. I don't give a crap about that. I don't think that's what it was. I think this millennial generation, and I'm part of that, barely on the cuff, has this mindset that they own the world, that the world belongs to them, and if they don't feel safe based on preconceived conditioning, that they have the right to question anybody and tell anybody else what they should and shouldn't do. Now here's the bottom line. Those I'll call them weapons. Yeah, because sometimes I do use them to kill stuff. That makes them a weapon. It really makes them a weapon if you're talking about killing another human being, which I would never do unless it was into self-defense. But she's coming in there talking about weapons. I'm like, I barely even fired both of those guns. I went 8 years without guns. I went 2 years once I got my rights back without a gun. You know why? Because I became a bow hunter. But if you're going to be self-subsisting, I'm sorry to tell you, all you bow hunters out there that are just getting into it, bow hunting sucks. It's hard as crap. Like
that is the one thing I cannot do, won't try to do. I tried it once on a ball pump my arm, and I said, forget it, I'm out, I'm crutch bow all the way.
I mean, I would consider myself, just based on hours put in over the past 5 years, I've probably put in at least 5,000 hours. Not enough to be 10,000, be considered an expert. That's what people consider, expert status and anything, 10,000 hours. But I guarantee I put in at least 5,000 hours in that bow. Shot it and shot it and shot it. And even doing that, even harvesting animals with it, it still sucks. If you're going to self-subsist like what we're doing, you need firearms. You need a gun. I mean, that's the easiest way to kill something. That's the quickest way to kill something, and it's the most humane way to kill something. Next to a bow and arrow. And so, I don't understand what her reasoning was. Let me just say the lesson here is, don't do that shit.
No, mind your own damn business.
Yeah, don't do that.
Mind your own damn business.
And I'm not saying that someone can't question me, that her coming up and asking me questions, that I wouldn't have welcomed that. But at 12 o'clock at night,
in a personal home,
you're in somebody's home, you're gonna come knock on the door and ask them about their firearm.
Now, where I'm from, that's a good way to get the ass whooped.
Yeah, I mean that's just not something you want to be doing. If you're curious about, if you're not somebody that and again, I'm not trying to sound to cause confrontation. That's not, I don't go about my life doing that, trying to cause confrontation with people that are different than me. If you don't believe in guns and you don't think that it's right to have them, that's your opinion and that's your right within this country. But guess what? The laws say that I can't. And just because you don't feel safe based on what you think in your head, that girl had never had a conversation with me. If she would have learned I'm a responsible firearm owner. I purchased the guns legally and I'm a hunter. And the biggest reason that I am, is not to murder things. It's because I choose to take responsibility for what goes in my body. I choose to take responsibility for the fact that death has to happen in order for me to live. I've had conversations with people over the last 2 or 3 months in Atlanta, Georgia, in the South now, who are meat eaters, who eat meat, but shun me for being a hunter. Again, one of those moments I'm just flabbergasted. Like when she came in the other night, I couldn't talk. Like I was so shocked at what she had done when she finally came out and said it, because she didn't say hello, she didn't say how you doing, she didn't say where are you from, how do you know these guys. She jumped straight into the thing about the firearms. Y'all, if you listen to the media and everything that's being put out, you're going to live in fear. You're going to live in fear of everything and everybody, and you are going to stay the same person for the rest of your life. And that is not what you're here for. You're here to grow. You're here to meet different people. You're here to meet people and to show love to people that you might hate because of contempt prior to investigation. You might have preconceived conditioning because of the media or your parents or even your own experience with another person that would make you think, oh, he's wearing camouflage, oh, he's got long hair, oh, or Jesse's got, cerebral palsy, blah, 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 blah. I even had a close friend of mine who I honestly wanted to call and give a piece of my mind when Jesse was making the knife video that we put up. This jerk, this contempt prior to investigation jerk, in this moment, I'm not saying he's a jerk all around, had the balls to say, get that knife away from him.
Personally, if he had the balls to say it, I'd like to see him do it, because he wouldn't have the balls for long.
Right. That's what.
I grew up on a farm. I didn't know how to catch it.
Easy now. We might have to edit that. If you're here, let me say this: if you're hearing any frustration, any anger, I'll just go ahead and call it that from Jesse and me. It is reactionary. I'm gonna hold this dang thing so it don't fall off again. It is reactionary. It is not. I don't wake up every day trying to start crap with people. I try to just go about my business and live my life and be a wild man and be a man that lives as much off the land as possible. You know, a man of old, a man of renown, a legend. You know, like I'm seeking a legendary life, and I know Jesse is too. He's already a legend in my mind. When I watched him make that knife sheath, y'all, I broke down. I almost broke down in tears. You know, to see somebody that just says, screw that, man. I don't care what people say. I don't care what society or labels say. I don't care what the doctors say. I don't care what my mom and daddy say. I don't care what anybody says. I am going to live my life and do the things that I love to do, regardless of what you might think my limitations are. You know, and when we're out just trying to do that and we run up against, you know, contempt prior to investigation, I'm gonna close it with this. I think we'll shut it down. Unless Jesse's got, you got anything else you wanted to add, Jesse? No. There is a bar against all knowledge and wisdom, and that will forever keep a man or a woman in everlasting ignorance. And that is contempt prior to investigation. I may have ad-libbed that a little bit, but y'all don't don't prejudge. You know, if you're wanting to know what unconditional love is, if you're wanting to know what it's like to grow as a person, to become a different person, to become empathetic and to understand people and to really be able to help people, guess what? The only way to do that, the only way to really do that is to love somebody who is completely different than you. Somebody that you might hate. That something they do you hate. Maybe you're a member of PETA, or you're a member of the Humane Society, and you hate hunters. Well, guess what? For you to really grow as a person, I'm just saying, there ain't no other way that I've found. You're gonna have to love somebody like me. You're gonna have to find the good in somebody like me, and I'm gonna have to find the good in somebody like you already have. I have plenty of vegan friends. I have plenty of animal rights activists, and guess what? I'm probably the biggest animal rights activist you know. Hunters and fishermen, regardless of what anybody says, are the biggest conservation group on the planet. It ain't even close. It ain't even close. Money-wise, I'm talking about dollars and cents, boots on the ground. It ain't even close. So, we want to help you. We want you to help us. We want to love you. We want you to love us. We want to show people that just because you think differently about something at a certain point in time does not mean that we can't have a relationship, that we can't find the good in each other. Because there's plenty about me and Jesse, for sure, that you can find this good. There's plenty about you, I'm sure we can find this good. So let's do that. You know, if you and let's really do this. Let's find out what makes you a long shot. What makes you a misfit? What makes you feel like you don't fit in, that you've been shunned by the society? You're welcome here. You might not hunt and fish, but if you feel like a misfit, if you feel like society's turned its back on you, look at me, Jesse. You're welcome here at the LonshotMisfits.
Yep.
Stop by anytime, hang out. We're gonna be hunting hogs here. Where are we? White Oak.
White Oak Yeah.
White Oak Wildlife Management Area in what's the town? We're in between Hot Springs and Dallas. That's all we're gonna say. And we found this little spot, and there's some hog trails running back in here, and we're trying to kill a hog to sustain ourselves. We're gonna try to do that as much as possible. Catch fish, find wild plants, mushrooms, things like that to live off of. We might shop at a grocery store occasionally, but as much as we can, we're gonna try to cook in camp and self-subsist off the land like old cowboys used to.
Yep.
Yes, sir. Long shot, modern misfits. We're living in a modern world, but we sure don't fit in like we.
Hell no, I don't.
And I never been more happy about that. All right, buddy. We're gonna sign off. Peace out, y'all. We'll see you soon. Follow at LonshotMisfits on Instagram. Follow Jesse Conley on Facebook. Right?
Yep.
JESSECONDLEY at LonshotMisfits on Instagram and at LonshotMisfits here on YouTube. We appreciate it, y'all. We love y'all. Peace out. Best to you.